Fantasy Mania. The Beginning. Chapter 17. Once the iron was hot enough, Joe placed his gloves on and had Artemis place the anvil in the right spot. He then grabbed the tongs and picked up the piece of iron from the fire. Artemis then asked his little helper to get him the hammer so they could begin the next process. He had his son step back and began to forge with everything he had. It didn't take much to get tired. Eventually Artemis would step aside and let his good pal Joe take over. Talon wasn't even near the fire and could feel sweat come down his forehead. After about 6 hours of pure dedication, they took a break. Unfortunately for this project there was also much gold required. That's what took most of the time. Searching river bends and panning for it. Once they had seated themselves at the kitchen table, Artemis asked his son to show Joe what he had been doing for several weeks now. With a big smile, he got up and reached over to get the heavy bag. He then opened up the bag and Joe couldn't believe it. There was at least 8 pounds of gold. That was a lot. But back with Apollos. Soon Apollos drew back his sword and looked around at all his men. He then told them there will be a day when the kingdom will be theirs for the taking. Until that time comes, we must find as many men as possible and then we will invade, killing everyone we see. Soon the night slowly crept by. And morning came quick. Artemis told Talon that in 2 days they would be heading to the kingdom. Then Talon said, "We will give the king our sword in honor of the queen's firstborn." His father nodded and with a smile thanked Joe for letting them stay there until that day of departure comes. To be continued.